Cloak and Dagger, Season 2, Episode 2 thoughts. This episode is called White Lines. So, spoilers for everything MCU leading up to and including this episode, another episode I love. And the episode is rated TV 14. So, let's dive right in. So, yeah, I thought the perspective cutting and nonlinear timeline, or I suppose not as much nonlinear timeline as jumping every so often, jumping back in time and switching perspectives. I thought that worked quite well for this episode. So let's see. I guess we'll start with so the titular duo. I appreciate that was also a really cool image to open on. I'm gonna try to see if I can pronounce. I think it's pronounced Vive. Drawing that, and yeah, I mean, by the end of this episode, still not entirely sure. Like, did the guy draw that knowing about Michaela, or was it just that was justice that Ty could help with? I'm not 100% sure. And let's see. Bridget is kind of harsh. One can understand her frustration, and we do see later, she was... okay. I am not 100% certain if she... No, yeah, I think what happened was Bridget went to the club after the duo called her. And after she called it into dispatch, she went to the bar and got really drunk. Then the evil version was like... she needs a name. Bridget Evil. Bridget Evil General. She takes over, and then she goes back to the crime scene after, and then talks to Hard-Ass 1 and Hard-Ass 2, according to the subtitles. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that happened. That was also very, it was reminiscent of the mansplaining scene in Birds of Prey, so I really appreciate more media today covering mansplaining. They're not really taking her seriously because she's a woman, and that's, sadly happens all too often. I'm really glad we're finally acknowledging it and trying to do something about it. It's been happening for thousands of years. As long as patriarchy has been around, at least. So, let's see. But yeah, one can understand, she's drunk, she's frustrated that the meeting didn't go well. Her boss is gonna chew her out, demand she hand over her badge and gun, talk about how the mayor's been up his ass. Yeah. But yeah, it was they are trying to help. Whether Bridget wants it or not. Yeah, Trump just gets, he is imploding before our eyes when it mentally and yeah. Now, let's see. I guess that pretty well covers the first go around of the club bit. So, let's see. Yeah, so the first person who we follow there is Tyrone. So yeah, afterwards, he took careful note of the Vive. So he goes into... I'm afraid I forget her. Yeah, actually, I guess it might be here. Chantal. He goes to her place, and we get another very MCU joke of how could you tell? Is it because you're psychic? And then she shows, no, I've got, you went through my shop. I have a security camera. And yeah, they have a quite good conversation. I appreciate the staging of it, the fact that she is, working on these cookies. Like it's one of those things. It makes it more visually interesting because at the end of the day, it's like 3 minutes of two people talking, and they have a pretty decent relationship. It's not like threatening or power dynamics. Not a lot of that going on. So, yeah, it's good to do something to make it a little bit more visually interesting. It's much more difficult to reset when you have to deal with all the yeah. Although actually, did they just film that once? Maybe did we? No, I'm pretty sure there was dialogue for at least on screen dialogue for at least some of that. So yeah, they had to have multiple of the dough ready to be cut into. Yeah, probably also real hassle to edit and keep continuity. And it's one of those things. Sometimes you may break continuity because those are the best takes. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes does. And let's see at one point she identifies the Vevey and explains it, which again that makes it even more like important to have it visually interesting. There's a lot of exposition in this scene. It's important because he needs to know this, we need to know this, and it's yeah. Let's see, and she explains about the Loa. And let's see, then we have the she says go home and pray. And then he says, what good does praying do? Way harsh, Ty. Like, holy crap. Even when I was the most obnoxious anti-theist, I wouldn't say that to a believer's face when I'm in their home. Like, holy crap, he really is in a very bad place to be acting like that. I mean, I don't know. I guess it is. He's still not 100% on board with Vudon. I think it's pronounced. And I do appreciate that she she doesn't put up with it. Just you're not gonna act like that about it. Yeah. And then she starts doing a veve for like protection. I'm gonna protect you from what? That was also a very MCU joke. Not gonna lie, made me chuckle. And I really appreciate that Evita does not really hold back, and it's absolutely true, And we learn it's been 8 months, which explains how Tandy got so good at ballet. And I'm still not clear on if he was practicing teleportation for 8 months or if he's actually been going around doing vigilantism, because Bridget didn't seem like I didn't really get the vibe of like this again from her. It more seemed like I can't believe you did this. And let's see. Yeah, I do really appreciate he does finally show her the powers. And she's like, so you could have teleported to show me you were okay for 8 months. And that, yeah. Which makes me wonder if the invincible fandom, or rather the toxic parts of it, I like to think it's not the majority, watched this and had a similarly negative reaction as they did to something on that show. From what I hear, I've only watched YouTube videos talking about that. I might watch that show at some point. I don't really have any problem with doing so. Anyway, let's see. Then we have the I think that pretty well covers not long after he manages to make the veve, and then he sees Michaela strapped to one of those. Are they called stretchers? Anyway, and he tries to free her, but passenger, as he's identified every time his face is not on screen and there's subtitles for his lines throughout the episode, spots him, grabs the gun, shoots, and Tyrone is not able to take her with but he does master, or he manages to by the end of the episode with Evita. And I think, actually, yeah, I'll it's not like I'm not already jumping a little bit in episodes in these videos. Anyway, yeah. Later on, he's struggling to recreate it, and she explains it's about the breath. So basically, the first time was beginner's luck. And yeah, you can't really recreate that. Just ask Homer for the, being able to identify what button he pressed. And let's see, yeah, I really appreciate, she apologizes and underlines, not for what I said, every word of it was true, but, yeah, she realizes that, he was in a bad situation, and, appreciates that, on account of her being upset, understandably so, she was not the most empathetic to a situation, and she apologizes, and, they're good. I love how much emotional intelligence is on these Marvel live-action shows. Now, let's see. And still honesty about, sometimes people mess up. The important thing is what you do after you've messed up. You got to start by acknowledging it and, trying to make it right. And Ty accepts that. Now, let's see. I think, yeah, not long after they he teleports with both of them, and they find Michaela in the hospital. And let's see, we the audience already knew she ended up in the hospital because Tandy saw her there. Let's see, then we have the they do the old couple of cliches in this episode. Her getting upset with him, and him, like, being like, oh, I'm bad news, I gotta stay away from you, kind of thing. It's kind of cliche, and I don't think they did enough to, like, subvert it or put a new spin on it. And also the kissing to hide from someone, also kind of cliche. And let's see, then we have the I mean, at least in Winter Soldier there was a joke about it, They didn't really subvert it, but there was at least a joke. And let's see, I like that she's the one who initiates the kiss, both because of, female agency in matters of romance, and also she's the one saving him. And yeah, she convinces him to teleport away, saying, I'll try to find something out. And yeah, he goes to Bridget, and understandably, he's like, look, I understand you're pissed, but please, and thankfully Bridget hears it and is able to make enough noise that he, teleports in. And, I will say, until that exact moment, I thought that Bridget Evil General was in the same body, that she just took over the body. And I guess that's why they had the first appearance of her be in a reflection. So we didn't quite know if that was in the mind of, Bridget Original. Or I don't know, maybe we were supposed to deduce it, and I was just, my mind was so much on this thing of, yeah, which I guess that means she climbed out of the water twice, and the one we saw climb out was Bridget Evil General. Yeah, that works. And yeah, he teleports both of them to Tandy, and I really appreciate that also being, if he focuses on the person, he can teleport to there. And yeah, Tandy's like, if you're here, who's over there, just, yeah. And yeah, really, really cool ending. They see Bridget Evil General with blood on her face. Big disgrace. And yeah, really, really excited to see what happens there. I'm almost certain I'm going to be watching the next episode tomorrow, so I'm not going to have to wait too long to find out. But yeah, I gotta see what happens next. And I will say, this ending does make me think that she's the Bridget Evil General is the one who attacked the you know the mediating meeting, and because the ruthlessness, the cutting people, and yeah, I think that which I guess means she never heard the thing about never return to the scene of the crime. Yes, that brings us nicely to Tandy, and yeah, right, now that we know it's 8 months, that also helps explain, yeah, she and Melissa have made significant progress in the support group, but she's still not quite over her father, and very understandable. Good growth of both characters, both titular characters' powers in this episode. Yeah, there's not much to say about the club scene, but yeah, she goes, at the meeting, she confronts Michaela, which, yeah, there's a reason they have a rule about not being that confrontational during those things. It ends up going very badly. I'm still not 100% sure if she was the one who took, I forget what they say, heroin, or if somebody did that to her, because certainly Passenger was very quick to grab a gun at seeing someone he didn't know who didn't have a gun in the back of the ambulance. And the fact that she said, "Help us." She said, "Help me." She never said, "Help us." Now, let's see. Then we have the, yeah. So she confronts her, and she does not really let up. And it's the kind of thing of like, I think on some level, she feels like if only somebody had shaken me out of the, and it's that thing of like, because she's in a better place now than she was when we first met her in the season opener of season 1. So she's thinking, I got it all figured out. I just gotta shake other people out of this. And she sees this other person who's in a bad place, and she maybe also kind of resents, it's like, why aren't you better? It reminds her of her father, and she's thinking about how her mother put up with this for years. Yeah, there's a lot going on. I think that the episode handles it really well. I adore the cutting, the I guess is it called a montage? It's not the kind of, it's not the we're gonna need a montage, but yeah, it's very, at first it's not super swift, but eventually it gets very Taylor Swift editing of and a lot of it is just people's faces. She can't get it out of her mind. How could I have talked to Michaela like that? How do I help her? As she's doing the ballet to try to get her mind off it, and we see her, her power growing. She's accidentally messing with the lights. I don't know if this season has a bigger budget than season 1, or if they're just spending it different, but the little bits with practical effects and the visual effects themselves, massive upgrade to season 1. There was some really good practical effects stuff, not a lot of really amazing CG in the first season, but yeah, definitely an upgrade. Also bigger, with the practical, like that bit where she runs and we see the lights messing up as she's running. If they didn't have a lot of money, they would have shown one of those and just moved on. Maybe done a close-up of one from several different angles, have set up 3 cameras and at one, and then just show that one from different angles and pretend it's different ones or something. But it's so much more effective to have it in frame. Again, feels like a comic book panel. So the yeah, and like, she tells Michaela, it's, and poor Leah trying to calm the situation back down, de-escalate, and Tandy is not having, and Melissa's also like, Tandy. Yeah. You would think someone named after a computer would be more responsive. And yeah, you know, Tandy straight up says, you know, no, it is very easy. You make a decision, you know, and it is this thing, you know, people don't choose to be hurt. That's what Ty was trying to impart upon her, and she hasn't quite accepted that yet. Also, really great cinematography and editing to distinguish between the different perspectives. But yeah, you know, she ends up saying it's just a choice. You know, you just leave. And then Michaela, you know, understandably upset, gets up and starts to leave. And I just want there to be a blooper where Tandy is like, I didn't mean now. And yeah, you know, she talks to Grace, who I'm starting to wonder if we'll ever see, or if she's like that one character from Frasier, whose name escapes me at the moment. Clarice, is that right? Something like that, you know, and yeah, she goes to Jeremy's and you know, just about tells him, I know you're lying, you know, it wasn't several guys attacking you, you know. And yeah, like, Jeremy is so confident in his misogyny and abuse, he straight up tells Tandy, the car is worth more than Michaela. Tell her that I'm gonna abuse her more, you know, just, but yeah, sadly, some are, and he's probably also thinking he can intimidate, you know, what was it Evita called her? It's sudden angry little girl. And let's see, I think that brings us to her getting to the yeah, so yeah, she goes to the hospital, and it really, when you know, she's talking to Leah, getting the information, and you know, Leah is about to say, and you know, Tandy is like, I know when she wakes up, I'm not gonna yell at her, you know, and like Leah does say, I'm sorry, it's just, you know, I'm stressed, you know, but yeah, that is a really unpleasant situation when someone thinks that you're going to do the absolutely wrong thing to someone who's vulnerable. You can also understand where Leah is coming from. You know, she was already vulnerable before she was in hospital. Now, I think right, yeah, and she, you know, yeah, she tries to see all her dreams. Not everything in this world, and I cannot say enough good about the way that they show, you know, it's these little like windows, and at one point she goes around and the windows are still just, yeah, and she sees the ambulance, and she sees the place that the ambulance, you know, and gets there, and we get this brief little bit of visual storytelling. We don't have to see her typing it in. We just see she's there, and we see her, you know, put down her phone, which for a lot of teenagers, that in itself is a super heroic act. That is like almost impossible. And yeah, we see she, you know, she Google searched for the specific, you know, and good description and everything, and yeah, you know, she got there, and I like that Bridget Evil General just says, are you coming or not? Like, just, you know, because, like, yeah, obviously she's thinking, like, so I'm, like, grounded, I mean, arrested, right? And let's see. Yeah. Yeah, she recognizes Passenger from the dream vision, and you know, yeah, that again, like, one major thing that makes me think, okay, there's definitely something going on with Passenger, this whole operation. He was going to run over a teenage girl to get away. You know, that, like, holy crap. And she, like, does the Kamehameha, makes a light bowl, and knocks out the car off screen. But to be fair, there's a lot of other great effects in this episode. And yeah, that is definitely, a new power of hers. And yeah, I think that is right. How did I forget? Yeah. She goes to talk to, when she talks to Leah and yeah, this thing, Leah is not super happy about, and yeah, Tandy ends up talking to Andre, that's his name. And yeah, some really great stuff there, and I appreciate, like she's like, so you're doing this for personal gain, and then he confronts her, says, so if you think it's nobody would do this except for personal gain, what are you getting out of this? Just yeah, great, because yeah, like the he just shared, and it is also this thing of like, if he's going to help her, he needs to know that she doesn't have some kind of, wicked intention. The way she talked to Michaela was, yeah. I think that just about covers, and yeah, his backstory is quite compelling, and I really appreciate this thing of like, where are the cops? Well, they would look for you, pretty blonde white girl with a white mom who can cry on TV. They would constantly be looking, but now it's just, them. And also the thing of, why is nobody looking for them, for these missing girls? Someone is. They are. Just the, community. Something that Tandy is not super used to. Before Ty, she didn't really have any kind of support network. And right now, she doesn't have a ton of people. Not saying that having Ty is nothing, obviously. Now, yes, I believe that covers everything for her. I'm not actually sure I have much more about either of the Bridgets. I think it all came up when talking about the two titular characters. Is there anything? I guess that does, excuse me, cover all of it. Yeah, really, really solid episode. I'm really looking forward to seeing, and again, like, very different storyline from the first season. And I think, right, really love how, so I'm just gonna get the name again. So if, I might mispronounce this, Emma Lahana does a phenomenal job distinguishing the two Bridgets. Look at the way she carries herself as Bridget Evil General. Like, holy crap, so much more confident, like, just completely take no BS, kind of thing. And also the couple of lines with, I'm a cop, I can be wherever I want to be. I can, just, yeah. Right, yeah, she confronts the family, but yeah, this thing of like, why was this guy at this meeting full of gang members? And he's like, I don't know. I have no idea. You have some idea. That painting is worth $100,000. He makes 60 a year. There's something fishy here, and she, destroys the painting. I didn't get the pop culture reference that she made about, I would go something over this entire place. But yeah, that rich people, if you want to get them to cooperate, threatening their wealth, that is an actual thing in real life. It doesn't seem like empathy, trying to appeal to their empathy often does not work, but they like their stuff. I guess I did have something more to say about Bridget. I think that might be it, though. Yeah, I appreciate how over the course of the episode, Tandy's powers are getting out of control. The lights are popping all over the place. Then we have the what's the other thing? We have the right. She sees. I mean, he's moving so different, but I'm pretty sure that is her father, right? I'm gonna real quick see. I mean, let's see. Yeah, Nathan Bowen. Yeah, that was and I mean that is the thing. Like now, when she thinks about her father, and of course she does every so often, at her age and with him having been dead for all these years, yeah. When she thinks about her father, she thinks about him being abusive, and that is also obviously part of. Yeah, I think I said that in my video on the first episode of the season. But yeah, her trying to stop Jeremy is trying to make up for her father abusing her mother. It's one of those things. Like it's terrible, but it is sadly a thing, and it's something we need to do what we can to alleviate. A lot of. I mean, she's no longer a child. A lot of offspring blame themselves for things their parents do that are bad in one way or another, and yeah, that is basically what we're seeing here. She thinks why, like yeah, because like let's see, there was the thing about if she probably feels like, well, if they didn't have me, maybe Melissa would have left Nathan. Yeah. I think that might. Oh, right. Yeah, just briefly the let's see. Crap. What was it? There was this. Oh, right. Yeah, and Bridget also. Bridget Evil General. Like the choking the passenger, and yeah, at this point Tandy's still like, well, if it gets results, she has brutal methods herself, and yeah, afterwards, passengers like, I've given you everything. I don't have, I have no more information to give you. I believe you, and slits the, and yeah, they save a little money, and there's probably also sensors, they probably didn't shoot it so that they didn't have to cut it because sensors. But yeah, we don't see the cut as it happens, but we do see the blood spray on her face, and she's just like ice cold during it. Very, very cool. Very Miho. And let's see. Yeah, afterwards we do see the cut. We see the slit throat. Really appreciate how dark and direct this show gets. Right, I like the line about, we don't escape from the cops. You of all people know that. I cannot believe I simply do not recall which part of the episode, but there was some part where characters were unable to get into a. What was it? Was it the start of the episode? The mediating meeting, maybe. But there was a part where you hear like fighting and killing, and we don't see it, and then we see the aftermath, which on one hand means they don't have to choreograph, film, and edit the attack, but it also means we picture, we're starting to see pictures now, aren't we, of what is happening, and yeah, that is actually extremely effective. So it doesn't feel like they're cheating us out of something. Also because there is good action elsewhere in the episode. The whole thing with the ambulance was quite tense. And the gun in the ambulance in that other bit, yeah. The ambulance, trying to escape and then trying to run over Tandy. That was very tense. I think that does cover everything I have for this episode. Yeah. It is very cool to have a superpowered antagonist. Yeah, the first season, there wasn't really room for it. It was more about, learning the secrets of their powers, mastering their powers, meeting each other, developing trust with each other, and they also spent some of the first season just setting up the status quo so that they could develop where the characters are going and such. So, yeah, this season, with all that out of the way, this is not criticism of season one. It's praise of season two. Let's see. Yeah, in season one, like the superpowers against them really only happen at the very end. Really. I mean, I suppose one could count them fighting the terrors inside Ivan's mind, but other than that, it's really just the final episode, which had some really great stuff, don't get me wrong, but other than that, they were fighting human beings, or regular human beings, with no superpower or anything. And here, it looks like there's going to be some open conflict between the titular duo and Bridget Evil General, and yeah, because there's like, what, 8 more episodes of this season, so yeah. Yeah, I think that is absolutely everything I have to say about this episode. Yeah, so glad that I decided to watch these shows. Yeah. Honestly, in a way, glad that I waited until now where I have access to all of it, because, yeah, I'm a little glad that I didn't have to ever get Netflix. Maybe I will at some point in the future. There's stuff on there that but I don't know. I kind of want to put it off until I'm 100% certain and there's enough stuff there, because I can't really. I would have to get at least 1 full month. You can't ask them to give you less than that. So I really want there to be something for every day of that month, and I'm not sure right now I have enough. But there are things on there that I would like to watch eventually. Like they have a, can't believe I'm blanking on that name. The most recent, and it's super expensive on DVD. I checked. The most recent version of All Quiet on the Western Front, a movie that, I mean, it's not an exaggeration to say, 20 years that I've wanted them to make another one of those. So yeah, because like for forever I was thinking they can do something with the level of gore that we've seen today, and higher production value, more modern filmmaking, probably higher budget, all this stuff, and yeah, gotta watch that at some point. So yeah, hope to catch you when I do the next episode. Should be sometime tomorrow, cannot say at this point exactly when, but yeah, hope to catch you then.